Okay. Mm, don't mind me. Hi. I'm looking at my phone because I have an information to share with you from there. But before we go into that, hello, how are you? All right. Yes, I must begin with those lines. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything, wherever you are listening to me at this very instant and seeing me. How are you? My happy space or my happy place each time I come into this. Yes, it gives me this good vibes. It feels like butterflies in my belly. Yes. So what are we going to be doing today? A lot has been going on. The year is pretty young, but surprisingly, we're having the shortest January. We're having the shortest January ever. And all of a sudden, it's like January is like February, if not shorter than February. So time, where did time go and all of that? Well, it's the basis of what we're going to be talking about today. Time. I've talked about time on this show severally, but this came to me and I just felt like bringing it here on the show and to share with us. A lot of us, yes, I wrote about this in my book. The human life is expressed on the scale of time. And those who understand this scale harness the best of life, yes, from time. A lot has been said, defined about time, but one thing is true about time. We all have it in equal amount. Is time relative? Is time absolute? Is time a quantity that you can save in a matter of speaking, like you're saving funds? Can you save up money? You hear people say things like, you're wasting my time. Okay, that presupposes that you have it saved somewhere. Or is time what is given to us to measure our living here on earth? My mentor once told me that life is what is given to us to fulfill purpose in time. Life is what is given to us to fulfill purpose in time. So you come to ask yourself this question. So is life measurable? The way we live as human beings, from my observation, we like definition a lot because somehow we feel when we define things, it gives us this sense of worth, ownership. We tend to like own it because we have defined it. And actually, definitions are limitations. So when you define or when you put a definition around a thing, you have created this barrier, this limit you can't go beyond because that is what you think it is. A good example is when you define photosynthesis. I always use that when I talk about this, the process by which green plants manufacture their food in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. So initially when we got that definition back then in school, we thought photosynthesis only happens in daylight. But when you study the real process, you come to hear about the dark phase of photosynthesis and all of that. But that's a discussion for another day. But this is what I came to share with us. We are all racing against time. There's this race, as it were, rat race, if you want to call it. You see everybody racing against time. And somehow we have come to put segments to our lives. So you see people say, I've not achieved this and I'm turning 30. So we pressure ourselves. We put ourselves under this pressure I'm turning 40, I'm turning 50. But have you heard the saying, a fine wine gets better with age? So subject to time, wine, the best of it, is not the very fresh one, as it were, and the one that ages. And the question now is, will you be patient enough to wait for the wine to age to get the best of it? What am I saying? I saw this movie once, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I don't know if you've seen the movie before. Brad Pitt featured in it. So the movie is about, that's where we're going to begin now. All of this has been introduction. The movie is about a man who was born old and died young. So he was born, when he was born, like a baby, so to say, was an old baby, an old man in a baby, so to say. So his growth was reversed, backwards. As he was getting younger, he was aging, and he died a baby. So look at that. He was born, say, at the age of 100. The signs, the features, everything about him, medically speaking, was an old man. But each passing day, he turned younger. His growth was in the opposite direction. So you come to ask yourself, how am I growing? How do I define achievement? So there's a scripture, that was what I was looking at on my phone. I was trying to get the exact words to get it to you from the book of Ecclesiastes. Yes, chapter 3, verse 1, which says, to everything there is a time and a season for every activity under the heavens or under the sun. To everything there is a time, and to every activity. So it went on to describe the activities of the human life: to be born, to love, to fight, and all of that. But this is where I'm going with my thought. If there is a time for everything, and there is a season, so the responsibility is now for me to know when is that time, or my time and my season. So that tells me I need to connect with divinity. That tells me that I need to connect with my source. Yes. Because the society has painted this picture that a lot of us we've been put under this crucible, pressurized environment, that we do things that we end up regretting. The first, they'll tell you, like, Forbes 50, under 50 millionaires. Forbes this. The first 30, whatever, millionaire under 30. And somehow, some of us just look at these things and say, boy, oh boy, I've not even started doing anything. Look at my age mates, quote and unquote, are achieving this, are achieving that. Billionaires are 30. I just have to do something. Sorry, that is a Nigerian way of expressing ourselves. You see that what I just did now? Like the hissing or gnashing of my teeth is a Nigerian thing, So we put ourselves under this untold pressure. But do you understand that there's time for everything? There's a season for every activity under the heavens or under heaven. So now it is for me to reach out and search. I'm going to go through some stories of people who started at supposedly when they were old, and they ended up so successful before they died. The very first one is Abraham. Do you know that Abraham started his journey at the age of 87? You heard me. Somebody will say that's Abraham, those Old Testament stories and all of that. Did it really happen? Well, Abraham, at the age of 87, I'm not saying you cannot start early, don't get me wrong, but your understanding of that principle of time would help you lean properly and not self-induce pressure and not be in competition. You compare yourself in a manner that you are not meant to. The story, have you read about the story of, Caleb, Joshua and Caleb, the two names, the only two people who gave a report that shut down the whalers. Now, the Bible tells us about Caleb. At the time, he was promised a particular, as an inheritance, Joshua gave him a particular, as in, was it Moses or Joshua now? The hill country, the hillsides and all of that. Now, he rose up at the age of, I think, 100 or so. And he made a statement that baffled everybody. He said, listen, the promises of God, I'm paraphrasing now, what God has promised me, I'm still alive, I'm not dead. I will take it. I am as strong as I was when the promise was made how many years ago. So in my thinking, the promise of God became his timing, not his biological cycle, his aging or whatever, because he who promised is faithful. He is there. I will not let go. And those were, he held on. Did he fight? Of course he did, because God promised him. So his strength came from the promises of God. He was renewed, like Isaiah will put it, like the eagles. Okay. Somebody may say, these are all Bible times and all that. Have you heard about Colonel Sanders? The Kentucky Fried Chicken story. Go read about it. We talked about it on this show before, but he started at the age, as in when the world came to see him as a billionaire or millionaire and all of that, the brand, KFC and all of that. I think it started at the age of 65. No, that's not negating that before 65 he's been doing so much, as in building capacity, trying one thing and all of that. But the world came to hear about him, his fame and all of that at the age of 65. So one would say, is that not retirement age? Is that not when we're meant to we're retired now, let's go, just sit down, wait for death to come? Your definition of life is skewed. So we need to wake up. We need to wake up and embrace this reality, how we define life, how we go about it. So before I came on set, I was going through my LinkedIn profile and I came across this lady, with due respect, I call her the Queen of Excellence, Bola Martel Oko, BMO, as we call her, Coach BMO. She started her coaching career, she's an executive coach anyway, at the age, I think she's 50 plus now or 60. Is irrelevant, but I know that she's not a teenager, as it were. You can Google her up and see her, BMO. One of the, okay, is enough. Let me not say the other part. When you Google it, you see it. Yep. She started her coaching career at that age. So what am I saying in essence? You have enough time. Relax. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. You're not Elon Musk. Yes. You're not Bill Gates. Fine. You are not, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. Fine. You're not Dangote either. You're not Elumelu Tony. But you are you. You see, you are you. You're unique. There's a unique space you occupy on the face of the earth. You are not insignificant. You are very, very significant. But you need to lean inwards to the definitions of time. It has misled a lot of us. Yes, I understand the society has been built in this hierarchy, the way we see things, hierarchical, pyramidal. Our thinking is always in that pyramidal form. It's not always the case. So time, how do you see it? How do you value it? How are you pursuing your purpose? Listen. There is a time, or there are times, seasons on the earth. It's for us to find our time and our season and live and become. Well, I didn't come to say much on the show today, but just to share this with you. Like a fine wine that gets better with age, so is, or so should our purpose be. What if your purpose will just be for 1 month, as in the summation, the zenith, all of your life, the sum total, the summary will just be 1 month. You brought that impact on the earth. You're not dying. I'm not saying you're dying now, but that's what you're known for. Just 1 month. While the other person is known for 30 years of XYZ. But just like Jesus told the story, those who came at the beginning and those who came at the end, allow me, I'll be the one to give the reward, not you to decide that. That's the truth. It's not fair, you would say. Hello, have you not heard it? Life is not fair. No, it's not fair. Life is only fair to those who discover purpose in time. Just for a minute, close your eyes. Try and track all your movements, where you have been on the earth. If you're 30, if you're 40, if you're 50, even if you're less than that, try and track it. Try and connect it. You would see it's all about time. It's all about time. Right, guys, I need to go now, and that's what we came to do on the show. Just to provoke you. Just to touch you in that space to think differently. Yep. Please, please, please do like, share, and drop a comment. Follow us on all our social media handles. Yes, we are there on Instagram, we're there on Facebook, we're there, LinkedIn, we're there, TikTok, that app. Yes, we're there. And also follow us on our YouTube channel. We have wholesome content for you. Till I come your way again. My name is Amakri. Amakri Sowe.